I never thought I'd hold a lighter to the only family album I had left. Watching the flames curl around my mother's smiling face like the lies she'd told for years. At 25, with a corner office in downtown Chicago and a bank account fat enough to buy silence, I finally understood revenge isn't about justice, it's about making them feel the weight of what they discarded. But when she showed up on my doorstep, eyes wide with that fake maternal glow, begging for money to send her golden child to college, I didn't just say no, I made sure she'd choke on every dollar she'd stolen from me first. It was a muggy August evening in 2015, the kind where the air in suburban Ohio clings to your skin like regret. I was 15, all gangly limbs and braces, sprawled on the threadbare couch in our split-level ranch house on Elmwood Drive. Dad had been gone 6 months, cancer, they said, quick and merciless, leaving behind a mountain of medical bills and a daughter who still checked under her bed for monsters. Mom, Ellen, had always been the dramatic type. Big hair, bigger laughs, the queen of PDA bake sales and neighborhood barbecues. But grief had sharpened her edges, turned her into something brittle, like fine china one wrong bump away from shattering. That night, she came home late, heels clicking unevenly on the linoleum, reeking of Chanel No. 5 and something sharper, whiskey, maybe, or the cologne of the man she'd been seeing behind Dad's back for over a year. I'd known about the affair. Kids always do. I'd seen the texts on her phone when she left it charging in the kitchen, the late-night errands that stretched into dawn. But I kept quiet. For Dad. He was the one who'd held my hand through chemo visits, who'd whispered stories of Chicago jazz clubs while the machines beeped like accusatory metronomes. Your mom's just lost, Vivi, he'd say, his voice a rasp. We'll get through this. Family sticks. Family. What a crock. She burst into the living room, her face flushed, mascara smudged like war paint. Behind her loomed Mark, tall, broad-shouldered, with a real estate broker's smile and a wedding ring tan line that screamed fresh divorce. Vivian, pack your things, she announced, not even glancing at the TV flickering with some dumb teen drama. You're going to stay with Aunt Rita for a while. I sat up, heart slamming against my ribs. What? Why? Aunt Rita's in Cleveland. She hates kids. Mark shifted awkwardly, hands in his khakis, but Mom barreled on. It's temporary. Mark and we're starting over. Fresh. And you. You need space. To grow. Space. Grow. At 15, with school starting in 2 weeks and a locker full of dreams about becoming a lawyer like those fierce women on Law and Order, I laughed. A sharp, disbelieving bark. Starting over? With him? Dad's barely cold. Her hand cracked across my cheek before I could finish. The sting bloomed hot, but it was the look in her eyes that gutted me. Pure, unfiltered contempt, like I'd been the anchor dragging her down all along. Don't you dare, she hissed. You think I wanted this? Your father was a ghost long before he died. Bills, complaints, that endless pity party. Mark sees me. He wants me. And yes, we're having a baby. Twins, actually. A boy and a girl. Our family. Our family. The words landed like grenades. I'd borne the secret of her affair to protect Dad's memory, lied to the hospice nurses about her devotion, even forged her signature on insurance forms so the bills wouldn't bankrupt us. I'd carried the weight of her guilt, told myself it was love. But now? She was erasing me for a do-over. A shiny new nuclear unit with minivans and soccer practices. "Get out," she said, voice flat as the Midwest plains. "Or I'll call the cops and say you're a runaway." Mark's got connections. I didn't cry. Not then. I shoved clothes into my backpack, jeans, a few hoodies, Dad's old Cubs cap, and walked out into the humid night, the screen door slamming like a guillotine. Aunt Rita took me in grudgingly, her tiny apartment smelling of menthols and microwave dinners. School became a blur of free lunch programs and whispers. Vivian's mom ditched her for a rich guy. I aced my classes, got a scholarship to community college, then transferred to the University of Illinois on academic merit and student loans that felt like chains. By 22, I was clerking at a law firm in the Loop, grinding 90-hour weeks for partners who called me the pit bull. But the betrayal festered. Every holiday card from Mom, and signed, forwarded by Rita, showed the perfect life. Ethan and Lily, her miracle twins, gap-toothed grins in Christmas sweaters. Mark's real estate empire boomed. They upgraded to a McMansion in Dublin, Ohio. I got nothing. No calls. No apologies. Just silence. Thick and damning. Then, last spring, the email hit my inbox like a sucker punch. Subject: reaching out, family matters. Vivian, my darling girl, I know it's been years, and I've no right to ask. But life has a way of circling back. Lily's accepted to Ohio State, full ride, but the extras, books, housing, we're stretched thin with Ethan's braces and Mark's market slump. You're doing so well. LinkedIn says you're a rising star at Kessler and Loeb. Could you help? Just this once. For your sister. Blood is thicker. Love always. Mom. Love always. The gall. I stared at the screen in my high-rise condo overlooking Lake Michigan, the city lights mocking me with their indifferent sparkle. Blood thicker? She'd spilled mine without a second thought. But this was my opening. The revenge I'd scripted in sleepless nights, fueled by black coffee and case law on fraud and undue influence. I replied within minutes. Coffee? The Beanery on Michigan Avenue. Noon Saturday. Wear something nice. She showed up early. Of course, eager, hopeful. Her Botox-smooth face a mask of faux warmth. The twins were 12 now. She chattered, spitting images of Dad, but with Mark's chin. Ethan was into lacrosse. Lily, debate club. She's just like you. Vivi, fierce. Smart. You'd love her. I sipped my latte, letting her words hang. How much? Her relief was palpable. $28,000. We can pay it back. No installments, I cut in. One lump. But there's a catch. Her eyes narrowed. That old schemer peeking through. Mom had always been a flipper, charming 1 minute, venomous the next. She'd talked Dad into remortgaging the house for her boutique that never opened, then blamed him when the bank foreclosed. What kind of catch? I slid a folder across the table, manila. Crisp. The kind that screams litigation. Inside, affidavits from Aunt Rita, copies of those forged insurance forms. I'd kept meticulous records. Bank statements showing how she drained Dad's life insurance payout on Mark's down payment before I could claim my share as beneficiary. And the kicker, a notarized letter from the hospice administrator, detailing how I'd impersonated her to sign off on Dad's DNR, protecting her from fraud charges when she was too grieving, hungover from affair-fueled benders, to show up. You want money? Fine. But first,
Truth.
sign this. Admit you knew about the affair while Dad was dying. Admit you kicked me out to cover your tracks. Because if social services dug, they'd find out you neglected me for months. Admit Lily and Ethan aren't just your redo. They're the reason you let me rot. She blanched, fingers trembling on the folder. Vivi, this is blackmail. Blackmail. Call it restitution, I said coolly. Or walk.
No coffee.
No cash. The beanery buzzed around us. Yuppies tapping laptops. Baristas calling orders, but in that booth, it was a standoff straight out of a Scorsese flick. Mom's mind word. I could see it. Flip the script? Play victim? She'd done it 1,000 times. If I sign, you swear it's over? For Lily's sake.
For blood, as sake, I lied.
Because revenge isn't a transaction, it's a trapdoor. She signed, pen scratching like claws on glass. I wired the money that afternoon. A fat transfer to her account. With a note, tuition paid. Enjoy the view from the pedestal. But I didn't stop there. Oh no. That was just the hook. The weeks blurred into a haze of depositions and deadlines at the firm. But my real work happened in shadows. Late-night calls to a PI I'd hired on retainer. A grizzled ex-cop named Harlan who specialized in domestic unraveling. You sure about this? Kid, he'd grunt over burner phones, his voice like gravel under tires. Moms like yours? They don't break clean. They shatter and take shrapnel with them. I was sure. Harlan dug deep. Tax records showing Mom's business was a shell for laundering Mark's shady flips, under-the-table cash from flipping foreclosures to desperate families, skirting HUD regs. Emails between her and a divorce attorney from a decade back, plotting to bleed Mark's ex dry before flipping to him. And the twins, God. The twins. School reports marked confidential. Lily, the prodigy, caught shoplifting makeup from Ulta last year. Ethan, suspended twice for fighting. Whispers of steroids from the coach. Not so golden after all. But the real rot? Dad's death certificate. I'd always assumed cancer. But Harlan's contacts at the coroner's office pulled the full file. Toxicology report. Elevated oxycodone levels. Not from pain meds, prescribed. Sure. But mixed with bourbon in quantities that screamed assisted. Mom had been his sole caregiver those last weeks. I'd been at school. Oblivious. A note in her handwriting. Tucked in his effects. Forgive me,
Tom.
I can't do this alone. Not suicide, mercy, murder? The line blurred in Ohio law. Especially with grief as cover. I didn't want her in cuffs.
Not yet.
That'd be too quick. Too merciful.
No.
I wanted her to watch her empire crack. Brick by prefab brick. First move, anonymous tips. I funneled the tax docs to the IRS whistleblower line. Masked IP through a VPN in Toronto. A week later, Mom's LinkedIn went dark. Mark's listings vanished from Zillow. Then, the school. I posed as a concerned alum, donating to the PTSA under a fake name, but attached Lily's psych eval, pilfered from Harlan's hack, flagging, adjustment disorder, tied to familial instability. The debate coach got a nudge. Heard your stars got sticky fingers. Might wanna watch the trophy case. Panic set in fast. Her text started, sporadic at first, then frantic. Vivi, something's wrong. The house is in pre-foreclosure. Lily's teachers are asking questions. Is this you? I ghosted her. Let the silence fester like an open wound. But she was cunning, always had been. 2 months post-coffee. She flipped the board, showed up at Kessler and Loeb unannounced. Heels polished, smile weaponized. The receptionist buzzed me. "Your mother?" "Says it's urgent. Family emergency." I met her in the lobby. All marble and menace. My power suit a shield. "What the hell?" "Ellen." She clutched a manila envelope of her own. Eyes glassy, but sharp. "Don't Ellen me. I know what you're doing, the tips. The leaks." Harlan Whitaker? Ex-Detroit PD. Disgraced for evidence tampering. I hired my own guy. Schemer to schemer. She'd traced the PI through license plates on surveillance footage. Inside the envelope, photos of me at a Wicker Park bar. Arm around a colleague, nothing scandalous, but enough to whisper unprofessional conduct to my bosses. And worse, a draft custody petition. "If you don't stop, I'll go public. Tell the Bar Association about those forgeries you did at 15. Impersonating me? That's fraud. Vivi. Felony. And I'll say you coerced me into that confession for the money." Blackmail goes both ways. My stomach twisted, but I held her gaze. Controversial? This was her masterpiece, turning my revenge into mutual destruction. Pitting blood against blood in a court of public opinion. The partners upstairs valued discretion, one whiff of drama, and my fast track to associate derailed. But backing down? That meant letting her win again. Letting the twins inherit her poison without consequence. "Fine," I said, voice steady as Lake Superior ice.
Truce.
"Come to Chicago for Labor Day. The four of us talk it out. Like family." Her relief was a crack in the armor. "The twins? You mean it?" "Wouldn't miss meeting my siblings for the world." They arrived via Megabus budget, befitting their slide, hauling duffels into my condo like refugees. Lily was a spitfire, sharp bob, eyeliner winged like accusations, debating me on everything from student debt to Taylor Swift's feminism. Ethan hulkied silently, all acne and hoodies, demolishing my fridge like it owed him. Mom hovered, directing traffic, her new lines etched deeper, but still flipping charm on demand. That night, over takeout Thai, pad CEU steaming on the coffee table, I played host. Stories flowed. My climb from community college to corner office. Their suburban saga now soured by bad luck. Lily lit up at my law tales. Ethan grunted approval at mentions of Chicago sports bars. Mom watched, wary, but thawing.
"See?
We can fix this," she murmured later, as the kids crashed on the pullout. "You're the strong one, Vivi." Always were. Strong. Yeah. Strong enough to dose the twin sodas with melatonin, over the counter. Harmless. Just enough for deep sleep. Strong enough to lure her to the balcony at 2 a.m., city hum below like a distant heartbeat. "One last signature," I said, handing her a tablet. "Renounce any claim on Dad's estate. Admit the oxycodone in writing. Caregiving error. Foreclosure." She balked, wind whipping her hair. "You're insane." "This is insurance," I finished. "Sign. Or the photos go to the DA. Your choice, mercy killing or manslaughter." Her face crumpled. Genuine this time. No mask. "I didn't mean to." He begged me. "Vivi." The pain. He wanted out. I just helped. Tears tracked black. I loved him. But you were the reminder. Every time I looked at you, I saw what I'd broken. Confession hung heavy. The kind that divides souls. Was she monster or broken woman? I didn't care. She signed, digital ink sealing her fate. Harlan had the server rigged. It auto-forwarded to a secure drop with the talks report attached. By dawn, as they boarded the bus home, kids groggy, Mom ashen, I got the ping. Package delivered. Feds en route. She called once. From a burner. You bitch. My life. Your mess. I hung up. Clean it yourself. But revenge. I learned. Echoes. The feds raided at noon. Mark lawyered up. Filed for divorce, citing marital misconduct. Lily's scholarship? Revoked amid the scandal. Shoplifting tied to parental neglect.
Ethan?
Juvenile detention for the roids. Mom too tangled in pleas to post bail. I watched from afar. LinkedIn ghosts and news clips. Ohio broker's wife charged in husband's euthanasia. Public split, some vilified her as mercy angel. Others cold killer. Protests outside the courthouse. Hashtags fracturing. Forgive Ellen versus. Justice for Tom. And me, untouched. Or so I thought. Until the knock, 2 suits. Badges gleaming. Vivian Hargrove, we need to talk about coercion. Your mother's alleging duress on that affidavit. The interrogation room smelled like stale coffee and desperation. Fluorescent buzz drilling into my skull like a bad hangover. Detectives Ruiz and Patel, hard-eyed. No nonsense. The kind who quote Miranda like scripture, leaned across the Formica table. Mom's affidavit splayed between us like a loaded gun. She says you threatened her. Hargrove. Wired $28K to force a false confession. That's extortion. Federal. If we tie it to the wire fraud angle. I cross my legs. Chanel pumped steady under the table. No panic. Years of mock trials had forged me cooler than a windy city winter. False? Read the talks. The forgeries. She signed willingly. Check the metadata, time-stamped. Uncoerced. Ruiz snorted. Flipping pages. Willingly after you burned her world down. IRS audit? School leaks? That's a pattern. Counselor. Vigilante shit. Vigilante. I echoed, letting a laugh bubble up, sharp, unladylike. Call it karma. She killed my father. Erase me for her upgrade. I just equalized. Patel leaned in, voice soft as a blade.
Equalized. Cute.
But your prints are on the tip line routing. Harlan Whitaker? He's singing like a canary, full immunity for flipping on you. The twist hit like a gut punch. Harlan, my rock. My dirty secret, had played both sides. Feeding Mom scraps while pocketing my retainers. Schemer's apprentice to the queen. I should have seen it. Betrayal's genetic. After all. They held me 48 hours, enough for the bar to get wind. Partners circling like sharks scenting blood. Released on my own recognizance. But the damage? Collateral. Firm reassigned my cases. Whispers in the break room painted me. Unstable air. LinkedIn flooded with pity DMs. Old law school buds ghosting. Mom's trial was a circus. Columbus courtroom packed with true crime podcasters and picketers waving signs. Euthanasia is not murder clashing with thou shalt not kill. She flipped again. Plea deal in hand. Manslaughter. 5 years probation. Community service at a hospice. No jail. Her lawyer spun it as tragic lapse, trotting out Lily's tearful testimony. Mom's a good person. She just lost her way. Lily. The kid who'd bonded with me over pad thai. Now star witness for the defense. During cross, she locked eyes with me in the gallery, defiance mixed with something softer. almost apologetic. Vivian's my sister, she said, voice cracking. But family protects family.
Protects.
The word twisted like a knife. Post-trial. She cornered me outside. Rain-slick steps. Ohio chill biting through my coat. You did this. All of it. Ethan's in juvie because of you, said you inspired his screw-up. Whatever that means. I shrugged, water beading on my lashes. Blame her. I just lit the match. Ethan had overheard the balcony confession. Pieced it with the steroids rage. Beat a teammate half to death. Claimed family honor. Lily? She'd hacked my email. Teen Tech Whiz found the PI contracts. The dosage calcs for the melatonin. Sent it all to the feds anonymously. Twins against the ghost sister. United in the wreckage. Mom got off light. But the real sentence? Watching her empire ash. Mark bolted with the McMansion equity. She couch-surfed with cousins. Hawking Tupperware online. The twins? Foster care ping-pong till she stabilized. Lily aced her GED online. Ethan turned it around with boxing scholarships. They hated me. Sure. But in their eyes, I saw flickers of dad. Resilient. Unbowed. Back in Chicago, I lawyered up, top tier. Pro bono from a mentor who owed dad a favor. Charges dropped. Insufficient evidence. Coercion claim crumbled under forensics. The firm? I walked. Cashed out my equity for a solo practice in Wicker Park, boutique. Specializing in elder fraud. Clients. Widows scammed by caregivers. Families gutted by hidden debts. Irony? Thick as fog off the lake. One gray November afternoon. 6 months post-trial. The doorbell chimed. FedEx. No sender. Inside, a single photo. Creased and faded me at 5. Dad hoisting me on his shoulders at Wrigley Field. Mom blurry in the background. Laughing. Tucked behind. A check. $28,000. Scribbled note in her looping script. For the sister I owed. Don't cash it. Burn it.
Elle.
Lily. The prodigy strikes back. Hacked accounts. Maybe. Or a side gig in ethical fishing. I held the lighter. Flame dancing like old ghosts. But hesitated. Cash it. And I'm the extortionist. Burn it. And I'm the villain who wins nothing. I tore it up instead. Shreds fluttering to the carpet like confetti at a funeral. Revenge? It divided us all. Mom the flawed survivor. Me the architect of ash. The twins the unintended casualties who rose sharper. No heroes. Just survivors clawing from the rubble. Was I right? Wrong? The debates rage in my head. Late nights with bourbon neat. City skyline a judgmental jury. But here's the hook that keeps me up. If I'd let it go. Walked away at the coffee shop. Would Dad's ghost rest easier? Or was this the mercy he begged for? Truth. Ugly and absolute? Blood's thicker.
All right.
Thick enough to drown in.
Il pourrait nazer?
Toast the dark. To family. To the ones we build from the bones of the broken.